Being recorded, isn't it? Ah, here's Jay. Hi, Jay.
Right, everybody's in now.
Apologies for that IT malfunction.
We've all had trouble tonight, Jay.
Sue, are you going to kick us off?
Yeah, I am. So we've got no apologies for absence because you're all here. So number 2 on the agenda is election of chairman. So does somebody want to propose? Second?
I propose Nigel.
I'm happy to second him.
You happy to do it?
I am. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Over to you.
Okay, so I'm on my mobile phone tonight, so I can't see everyone who's here. So if you want to speak and you're holding your hand up and I can't see you, can you please just let me know?
Yeah.
First of all, I understand that some of the members of the public are in the have been let in. I must remind members of the public that anyone can film this meeting. So if you don't want to be recorded, then please mute yourself and get rid of your picture from the screen. First on the agenda is public speaking. Does anyone want to speak from the public? No? Okay, so we'll go on to item 4, which is publicising of draft minutes. Now, I know that this has come up many times in the past, and I think it's something that Chris is particularly keen on. Do you want to kick us off, Chris?
Yes, certainly. I mean, it's parish councils around us. If you go like Chinley and places like that, they're usually out within a week or so, as in a draft version. Now, we've got to publish them within 30 days. I sort of like to have something where we do draft within a fortnight, and then when they're ratified, they become the final the final minutes. But that is what I'd like to propose, if I can do.
Anyone else have any thoughts on this?
Can I just ask why do you want to just put them on the website or what?
Publish generally, so they'll be on the website and on the notice board, wherever we put them or whatever.
Okay.
Nigel, can I ask a couple of questions, please, Nigel?
Go ahead, Stuart.
The thing with this is, in respect of certain things, it's the time scale once again. Like I said with the standing orders, it's the staff's time and them to do it. Sometimes they're like we've had the amenities minutes that we did the other week, that the assistant clerk went on holiday for a week, so it couldn't be done in that time. She had to do them when she got back, which had to be done there and there on the day, ready for the council meeting. So I actually are not fully in favour of it being a fortnight. I think the standing orders that says 30 days, i.e. it's got to be done in time a week before the full council meeting as such for ratification, actually is good enough. I don't see why it needs to be any quicker, particularly. You know, the difference between 2 weeks and 3 weeks is neither here nor there. And if you're wanting, the other question was, it's all right saying publishing it on the website and all the rest of it. Not everybody picks up what's on the website and not everybody reads all this stuff. Some of us are technophobes and don't really give a monkey's what's on all these different channels. Are you going to expect Sue also to post it out to the councillors? Because if that does happen, there's a cost involved there again. and also there's a time scale on that one for how to get it out to folk. I'm just wondering how you're going to envisage doing this, because I thought the draft minutes being publicised a week before the full council meeting, which is 3 weeks after what most of the meetings have been, or some of them will be even closer, like this one tonight. I just wondered where it was coming from.
I can see both sides of the argument, but for me, I'm involved in other committees as well, and I tend to get the minutes of the meetings that I attend within a couple of days of a meeting taking place, and certainly it makes it easier to see what action points belong to you. You know what is expected to happen for the next meeting. But I do understand your point about the too rigid adherence to deadlines. So I perhaps would ask Chris, would it be possible to be flexible about this 2 weeks? So
we would aim to something like that.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Stuart?
I still don't. I think we're going to struggle to work to it. That's how I feel.
Well, then we revisit it, but you know, to me, it's not set in stone.
I feel that we've always said that we get our minutes, or Sue posts our minutes out to us a week before the actual meeting takes place. Now, I admit at times you can't say what the post office is doing, but providing Sue has sent them out a week before the meeting, that, you know, if you're working on like the monthly, we have a monthly meeting. If you work that she sends it a week before the meeting, that's only 3 weeks after the meeting's had anyway. So to have it even a week before that, I just think it's pointless.
Yeah, but
myself.
The public don't get it then, Stuart. We're talking about the public here. We're talking about transparency.
Yes, but if the minutes are sent out to us a week before the meeting, providing those minutes are actually put on the website, the same as what's sent out to us a week before the meeting, which is what normally happens, what is the problem with that? Because the last meeting that was going to be of the amenities and of the planning meeting, which I'm not on, they were actually copied and put on Facebook the day that Sue had put them out. I didn't get them. That happened on the Thursday. They got on the Facebook on the Friday. I'd actually printed them off for myself off Facebook before I even got the copy through the post on the Monday. So I don't see the problem if it's already there.
I mean, certainly in a time now when, you know, everything gets filmed, put onto YouTube and Facebook, it seems rather silly that the official version has to wait a month before it comes out. I know we're going to come on to filming later, but essentially everyone knows what's happened at these meetings, and there doesn't seem much point in delaying, you know, the written version of it.
It just seems that I feel that we're duplicating. That's all.
I don't see how. I mean,
well, Sue's going to send us out a draft copy within a fortnight of the meeting happening, and then send us out a full copy.
Excuse me, Stuart. I don't think that's what Chris is asking for. I think he's just asking for what Sue would do at the end of the month, usually, for her to do it 2 weeks earlier. Chris, can you mute? Can I just ask Jason whether he has any views on this?
In a similar way to you, Nigel, actually, I can see both sides. At this moment in time, I could go either way.
Yeah, I'm the same as well. I mean, I do go to other meetings and I do get the minutes within a week if I've got, because there's action usually to be done and this thing, so I know exactly what I've got to be done, because you don't always take it all in straight away, so it reminds you as you get older. But I also see the other side of it, that it's going to, you know, if Sue's got only so many hours and that, I do understand having the time as well.
So, Chris, you've made this proposal. Do you want to push it to a vote?
I'd like, if I get a seconder, by all means, but can we ask Sue, is that, you know, when are the minutes, a typical meeting, when would you do when you would prepare the minutes, you know?
I try and do them the next day, just, you know, because it's fresh in my mind, really. So basically, there will be odd occurrences like the amenities meeting that then Emma went on holiday straight away for a week. So that, unlike tonight, I won't be, you know, it might be Monday, but you certainly, I can't see 2 weeks as an issue. So
okay, and saying it's not, it's a target, and Sue's happy with it. You know, I would like to, if I get a second, I would like to
I'll second it.
Yeah, and if Sue's happy with it, I mean, like I say, it's up to them in the office. If they've got the time, and they usually do it like I would within a couple of days anyway, where it's fresh in the mind, we can try it.
So can I just have a quick show of hands? All in favour? That's 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 5 on the agenda is the welcome pack. Now, I don't actually have a copy of this. We've got some other new members of the Communications Committee on here at the moment. So I think only the people who've previously been on the Communications Committee have got a copy. So, Sue, can we push this into the next meeting, and can you send us all a copy of the welcome pack?
yes, I can do, yeah.
Thanks. Number 6 is the newsletter. Has anyone got any ideas about what we should be saying in the newsletter?
I've got my hand up. I just think things that are actually happening round about Chapel, especially at the moment, there's a lot of people stuck at home and everything, and they're actually, you know, give them something to read and find out what's happening round about them, what's going on in the council. Like, we're working on the park, so maybe let them know where we're up to or what we'd like to do and things like that. You know, like just different things of what's happening in the town with us.
I think certainly we should be, once the Amenities Committee has come to a decision about how many new seats are going into the Memorial Park, we should be bragging a little bit about that. Can anyone think of anything else? Stuart?
Jason's got his hand up.
Jason?
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I mean, I was really enthused by the last communications meeting that we had, and we had lots planned, didn't we? Obviously, with the recent events, you know, I worry that we might lose what I thought was some progress at the last meeting. So, in the communications wise now, so I'd like to see Derek mentioned. Very much so. I think that was a really positive move from the parish council. I'd like to see that Stuart Young advertised as the new chair, and a piece about Stuart, if we could. We could actually. You touched upon on the benches into the park. I'd like to see lots about the village, to be fair, Chair, as much as we can possibly get in positive. The solar light being fixed in the parks is another great story.
The benches being put down by the co-op, fastened down, which is what we help do. Yeah, there is. There's things happening every month.
Stuart?
Can I make a suggestion about this newsletter? Now, at the moment, I don't think it would be legal for us to deliver something door to door. I'm not sure, but certainly it feels wrong.
No, under COVID rules, we wouldn't be able to unless we were actually paying the postman to do it as such, and it was going out as a proper mail shot with the postman. I don't think we would be able to do it.
So
on the
can I
COVID
make
rules.
a suggestion that what we do is if you'd like, I can go away, write up these stories, and then we put the newsletter onto the council's website and onto Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we agree at the last communications meeting that we would ask for people to email in if they were interested in receiving an electronic copy?
It was also mentioned at the full parish council meeting in the respect of doing a newsletter to say, in the respect of thanks to the ones who, even though they had resigned, for their services. It was also going to say wishing people Merry Christmas, Happy New Year type stuff.
Yeah,
it was also in the respect of not just the Derek Ely, it was about Gemma and it was about Ted as well. And also we said we might, it was, the discussion was whether we could actually do it before Christmas because of the COVID rules, or whether it would have to be in the new year. And the part for the new year was if it did have to go that far over for being able to do it, it was about knowing then what the budgets and things would be next year and where we stood with the elections because of people putting in for the council. We said there was plenty of news, whether we could do 2 newsletters, because there's a lot there to try and split, you know, to put all on one piece of paper, whether it can be done as 2, you know, one before Christmas, one in the new year. And I think it probably would be better possibly to try and mock something up and I won't say do it behind closed doors, but actually try and write some of these things and see what we want to put on.
Okay, so I've got a list of the stories. Thanks to the former councillors, and tie that into the elections that are happening next May. The benches at the Co-op, Gemma, Ted and Derek, the new chairman of Parish Council, benches in the park, solar light and Merry Christmas. Does anyone get anything else to add?
I'm sure we
Well, sorry.
Right.
Jason's got his hand up and so Stella. That's what I was just going to say to Nigel.
So Stella first and then Jason.
Did we agree that we're going to do this every 3 months? The newsletter.
Certainly we've got the communications committee meeting 4 times a year.
Yeah, so we're going to do a newsletter roundabout after the, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Jason.
I was just going to add, Chair, that perhaps if you give us a couple of days to have a think after the meeting, to get any ideas across to yourself. We're all on copy, aren't we? So we can. If you give us 48 hours just to think of if we've missed something, we can come back to it.
Yeah, I'll try and set aside some time on Sunday to write it.
Right, fabulous.
Right.
Okay, social media policy. I think this is my piece of business. We adopted this social media policy. David King spent a lot of time on it, and Mike added some parts to it as well. I think that the main problem with it is that it's tied up with the councillor's code of conduct. It really is something that is pretty dangerous for the parish council to get involved with, because it muddies the waters for the monitoring officer. I think the current social media policy talks hardly at all about acceptable use of the council's social media or IT systems. Now, Sue's gone away and she's come back with Derbyshire County Council's acceptable use policy for internet, email, and social media. Also, Ripley Town Council social media policy, and also an email from Andrew Fox Jr., who's the clerk of Whaley Bridge Parish Council, Town Council. Andrew Fox Jr. had the same issues about code of conduct, because essentially it's not any parish council or town council's job to police councillors. It's the borough councils. Now, what I think we should be doing is taking some of Derbyshire County Council's acceptable use policy and integrating that into our policy file for the staff. And then if any councillors take up the offer of council email addresses, just, advise them to go and read what an acceptable use of council's facilities would be. I just, can I throw that out there and gauge people's opinions on this? Chris?
I noticed, scrolling down, there's a NALC policy on information technology. Now, that seems to cover a lot of it already.
If that's the one in with the briefing pack for this meeting, then it's not really a policy, it's how to write a policy.
Yes, that is true. We could do with all right, now we've got the
what would people's opinions about just asking Sue to sort of trim down Derbyshire County Council's acceptable use policy as something that would be useful for staff, and then taking that document and putting it to the personnel committee? Because it seems like it's more at home in the sort of personnel realm than it is in the communications.
About,
yeah.
Is Sue happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Any objections? No. Well, Sue, can you put together an acceptable use policy for staff?
Yeah.
Number 8, communications policy. I think this is again misnamed. It's more of a correspondence policy. It's what happens when a member of the public writes into the council. Chris, do you want to speak about this one?
Maybe. Yes, I mean, we've got the present communication policy. It's basically what the office has to do with stuff, because a lot of stuff the councillors are not allowed to know about, the chairman's not allowed to know about it. The clerk has to sort of write back to them and say, this is the borough council, and I'm not allowed, and I can't pass it on to the councillors or the chairman or the vice chair or anyone. And that is how these things officially work. Some could disagree with it, but that's the way they operate, That's what our present communication policy says.
Well, I mean, the present communications policy isn't on the website, so it's very difficult to tell what it does say.
There is an adopted one that we held over for a year last year because of we wanted to add a bit about social media. But we definitely have one.
Sue,
yeah.
Is it somewhere on the website that I can? Because all I've got is what I remember of it the last time that it came to the communications committee.
Is it easier if I just email out to you all what we've got, and then you can all look at it? Yeah.
Yeah. Can we say that we'll have a conversation about it on email, and then if there's anything urgent that needs to be done, we can bring it to the full council in December.
Yeah.
And can we add a caveat to that anyway, Nigel? Because of the new standing orders that we are working to, that policy would be looked at next May anyway.
Yep.
The filming and sharing of meetings. I think once COVID ends, we need to think about filming in the town hall. I know there's been a sort of checkered history of this, but we need to, I think, at least, I don't know what your opinions are, but I think we should be publishing the sort of standard recording of parish council meetings, so that if someone wants a definitive version of what happened, they can come to the parish council and see it. Chris?
Well, basically, Derbyshire Association of Local Councils and then national body have given advice to all councils on this, that they recommend they set aside somewhere around £5,000 to implement filming and also live streaming. That was one of the things that they've done during this thing for an ongoing basis, because the world's changed.
Nigel, if I may just say with this one, because it's going to have a monetary implication as such with what Chris has just said, I think we should be putting it forward towards the budget stuff in the new year, because if we're talking about filming and live streaming or anything like that, it would be wise, I would think, to actually have our own equipment that was fastened up in the town hall at all times, as you might say, that stays there. It's equipment that stays there, because we found with the borough council, with the moving around of it for the borough, for the planning meetings and things don't tend to last quite the same when you start plugging and unplugging and shuffling them round, and then you suddenly get a microphone that doesn't work and things like that. I think it would be wise probably to have a look at what equipment we could actually take it to the town hall committee, if you like, and and the budget side of things, and have a look what we could actually put in the town hall so that it's there to be used for whichever meetings we're there for, as such. Then it can either do the live streaming or it can be filmed and, if you like, recorded. So we have I think you're looking at, from what you've said, a library basically of past meetings as such. Well, with doing that, it would be a case of we need to work out how we're going to maintain the library or whatever, or, you know, it's part of the clerk's job or the assistant clerk's job or whatever to maintain this so that we've got them. Just working out a way of dealing with it.
From my point of view, I think two aspects of this jump out at me. One is, which is that I don't think we need to spend a vast amount of money on this. I mean, the equipment that you need for live streaming now is cheap. The other thing is that I think we should make it as easy as possible to set up, so that it's a 5-minute job for Sue, rather than I've seen setups where someone has to physically sit there and switch things on and off, and I don't think that would be a wise move. Anyway, so yes, I think the idea that we cost it out, take it to the budget in January, February, is a good one. So should we say that? Stella?
Yeah, no, I was just going to agree, because we're not going to be having face-to-face meeting other than Zoom for a long while yet. So yeah, to cost it out in the budget and maybe look beforehand how much we think it's going to cost and everything like that. So you've got an idea.
In the meantime, I mean, there are recordings of these council meetings, and you know, some of these council meetings have been incredibly popular with members of the public. You know, there must be no decent telly on, but it might be a nice idea if we started posting links to recordings of the current council meetings, so that people have a place that they can go. They know that on the council's Facebook page they'll find a link to the latest meeting that's happened. What do people think about that idea?
Chair.
Yeah, Jason.
Through you, Chair. This is a question to Stuart. Actually, what did the Borough Council do, Stuart?
Well, we don't actually film all our meetings. The only ones that are filmed are actually the main council meeting and the planning meetings. Sorry about that. My phone's ringing. I'll have to just leave it ringing. Don't know why he wants to ring me at this time. Go away, phone.
Anyone else want to say anything about this? I mean, the recordings are out there. It's just a matter of whether we flag them up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should be there, and they should be the filming that's done by the council, and I think everyone should be able to look at them.
Okay, can I propose that then?
Yeah, I'll second it.
And all in favour?
Yes.
Do it.
Okay, so that's 4. So once we've got some links for the full meetings, Sue, can you put them on the Facebook page? Or
Yes. Yeah, one of us can, yeah.
Community Awards, item number 10, I've got Community Awards 2022 presentations. Is that a typo, Sue?
Yeah, it should be 2020. It's the ones that you agreed at the last meeting. It's just what you're going to present and how you're going to do it.
Could I propose that we set a budget of £50 a piece for the 2 community awards, and we ask Sue to look for some suitable awards? What do people think about that?
Well, can I just say with two bits to this as such, in the respect of, yes, I agree with setting a budget of how much we can spend, but also we need to think of where, because the other ones that we did in the past were bought and a certain gentleman engraved them and that, and we need to think about the wording. And I know I got Sue to send around the picture of what was there previously, the John Capps one and everything, and obviously it looks very nice. I do think we've got to at least buy something that is good looking and whatever, but we've also got to think we've got to get it engraved. Now, it's whether the place that you actually buy them from can actually engrave it within the price, and this is what I wouldn't know, and that's what this is where I'd like to ask the questions, that we do a little bit of homework on that, if you like, to see what we could buy and whether we can actually continue to buy them from somewhere in a ready engraved format, whether they're happy to take on board our Chapel-en-le-Frith logo to engrave into it. And we do need to think about the wordings, because I honestly think that the wordings for the different awards come out differently, because it's what it's awarded for, isn't it, as such. I just wanted to throw that one into the mix, if that's all right.
I agree, yeah, I agree with that. Also, I mean, I used to do it when I had the beehive. I used to do trophies and that, and there was a place in, I know it's maybe not this one, but in Stockport, and I used to go there and they would engrave it and everything, and do a reasonable price. So they'd go back because I had football cups and things. So it might be worth just going around places like that. And I don't mind looking into that if you want, if Sue has, or unless Sue wants to.
No, I'm happy if you've got a contact. That's useful.
Yeah, but
okay.
I'll get 3 quotes of different ones. I won't say what the wording is, but we've got a logo, haven't we? So we want the logo on, and then we can discuss the words. And Stuart seems to know what was put on some of them, so maybe he can come up with some of the words as well.
Sorry, generally it's just been the name of the person and then for whatever they've done, and it just might be service with children in the community. It's nothing.
Right. It's not, as Sue says, it's nothing technical, but like you say, it's actually saying for, like they say, the service that they've done. You know, it's like the old wording of service to king and country, or service to, you know, the arts, or service to whatever. It's a case of just wording it right for what the services that person has achieved.
Yeah.
Rather than working that out now, how about we just start an email conversation about it? We've got a sort of tentative idea of £50 a piece. Can I get a seconder for that?
Yeah.
And all in favour?
Yeah, everybody's got their hands up there.
Before we before we go off this subject, I'm just writing it down because my memory's terrible at this moment in time. Could you give me an idea of the size, Stuart, sometime, of what?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 11 is Community Awards 2021. So what are we meant to be discussing about this?
Well, this came out from the full council meeting, if you like, because of what we'd said about the other awards, like with Derek Ely's and these two that we just talked about, that the Community Awards Committee basically is defunct now because of people resigning off the council and that. There are a couple of people who we had on the awards committee who were normal people out of the public, you know, public domain, not councillors. One was Ken Gibson for Dove Holes, and there was another person as well, which you'll remember. But the thing is, I think because nothing had been done since 2016, I think it was the last award that had been handed out, we need to really make a decision for the future as such. Do we bring the community awards in with the communications committee, because this is where everybody's talking about what's happening in the community, and whether or not we want to, or whether we want to actually have the community awards committee redone again with some people out of the community to actually be able to put something out in the press, if you like. I know it's going to get out onto Facebook and everything now, we've talked about it, but we need to think about next year in the respect of getting people's names forward. Who do we think is worthwhile and things like that? Because it's all right us just doing these at the moment, because these are the ones we know about under these COVID problems and everything. But seeing as we haven't done any from 2016, there's probably other people who warrant it or whatever. And I think we need to re-establish it properly so that we can work forward and do some others and do some more. And I'll just say on that, I can tell you, Nigel, that Jason's got his hand up.
Jason.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Stuart. Yeah, I really like the idea of involving members of the parish in these awards. It just allows for the accusation of favouritism to be taken away. So I am all for what Stuart has just recommended there. So I would like to see this probably taken away from the communications and back into a community awards committee.
Stella.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I agree with that, and I think we should set a date of when we're going to do the awards. So say we set up a committee in January and then we're awarding it in September or something like that. So we've got a time frame and people can send in who they feel could be awarded this community award. But I think it should go from the council to the community to choose.
Chris.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The people of Chapel are the best people to decide.
Okay.
You've got Jason. Jason's got his hand up again.
It's a bit of a shame from my point of view, because I thought it was one of the nicest things that we'd done as a council at the last meeting. So I quite liked the idea of the full council awarding the award, thinking up the names, and especially next year when we're going to have 8 new councillors, hopefully, fingers crossed, including some from Dove Holes and a wider group of people. But I think I'm in the minority here. So yes, let's start thinking in the new year about an awards committee, and I think we do need to wait until after May to make any of the big awards, just so that we have a wider group of people who are taking the final decision.
Jason's got his hand up again, Nigel.
Jason.
Sorry, Chair. Actually, I just listened to what you said, and I agree with what you just said wholeheartedly. So potentially there's some middle ground here where we send it to the Community Awards Committee, and then push it on up to the full council for the final seal of approval. I was just going back to your newsletter. And perhaps we could put a piece in there asking for nominations from members of the public to sort of like, kickstart the process, if you like.
Yeah.
If they want to be on the committee. If they want to be on the committee.
Well,
No, both. I think you could do both, Stella. You could do, if you wanted to be on the committee, because I think the committee should be community as well as council, like it used to be. And on that one, ask them if they want to be on the committee so that they could oversee things, but also, like Jason has said, if there are any thoughts of who they think should be eligible for an award, and then it could be looked at.
Yeah, because I think that bit's important, Chair, because there are lots of people in Chapel who've done great things.
Yeah.
That not very many people would be aware of because they don't do it all over Facebook. They've just cracked on and done it, and they could tend to go under the radar a little bit. But there are lots of great people in Chapel that are worthy of a nomination, certainly.
I've just emailed you out the nomination form we've used previously, so you can just have a look and see, because there were sort of categories and things. Yeah.
All right, nice one.
Anyway, we've got an action point for that, which is to ask for nominations in the newsletter. Yes. If everyone's happy, I think we can just pause that until January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 12, COVID banners. This came up because Barry Lewis, who was leader of Derbyshire County Council, I was on a WhatsApp group with him, and he was pleading for parish councils to take some of the work of publicising what people should be doing. So things like stay safe, keep your distance, that kind of stuff. I've talked with the rest of you about this, and it's not something that I think many of you are keen on. Is that summarise your feelings quite well?
Well, I think we should have probably have done it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it depends how long and how much the budget, how much it's going to cost as well, and how long we've got to keep all this up.
Well, just to say on that, Nigel, there is obviously a keep your distance one on the lamppost that's by the public toilets on the marketplace that obviously DCC, I think, put up. Now, the thing is, all right for DCC putting them up, but every time we've had to do anything on any lamppost or put anything up, they always say they have to be tested. We can't put us baskets of flowers up. All the people who, and I fully agree with it, all the way through Dove and that, and places, they put these big poppies up on the lampposts for Remembrance Day, and then they said they got taken down, they hadn't got permission for them, and they've got to be a certain height above and all the rest of it. And if you started drawing things on the footpath and that, it comes down to highways once again. Are you defacing? It's like chewing gum and all the rest of it. It's all right, them coming up with these nice ideas from county, but one is, where's the money? Who's going to do it? And what is the legislation that would cover us if we've done anything wrong?
Okay, I think I'm sensing that it's a big no from everyone. Okay, the last item, almost last item, is website accessibility. I think this is yours, Chris.
Yes, thank you, Nigel. Yes, I mean, basically, if you use a mobile phone, very few of the links work. It's whereas virtually, if you go on any website nowadays, they automatically sort themselves out for mobile phones or tablets and that. they build them now in a sort of a, well, you can have dedicated mobile sites and it pushes you over or whatever, but they have a sort of a flexible architecture now which they can use, which that sort of automatically adjusts it. That's what we have got at our company, and it works very well. But it just needs to have a word with whoever developed this and just say, look, can this be fine-tuned a bit, please?
Okay, Chris, can I ask? Can you put together just a list of 2 or 3 of the bugs that you can easily point to on a mobile phone, and then can I propose that we go to our website designers and we ask for a cost now, because it's the sort of thing that will just be a yes or no. What can I ask that the costings go to the full council, because we're not going to meet as a communications committee for another 3 months. So get the costs.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to list a few of the snags at random.
Yeah. Can I propose that?
Yeah.
Anyone second? Yeah. Stella, and all in favour? Great. So,
well, I will be in favour because, as I say, I don't have a mobile phone. I haven't a clue what you're talking about and why you'd have bugs and all the rest of it. But obviously, if there's problems and people have got problems, we need to look into it and we need to address it, bring it up to date. But yes, the costings need to be considered. So,
Sue, Chris is going to provide you with some bugs. Can we find out what the cost is to fix them?
Yeah, that's fine. Is it just mobile phones? Because I have accessed things quite easily on my iPad.
I will test it with a few other devices, Sue. I've got a couple of iPads. Sorry, I can access within the household a couple of iPads, so I'll try them. I might ask someone who's got an Android tablet maybe to check it as well, but I will do some due diligence. I'll test it on various devices.
Stella, you've got your hand up. You're muted, Stella.
I need to find it. Stella, you're muted.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'm struggling. I was printing something off. Yeah, I've got an Android and I struggle. So maybe if you have a go on my Android one day, Chris, and try.
Okay, so date of next meeting. How about we say 3 months' time, and it will be decided nearer the time.
Yeah, 3 months' time.
Well, I think on that one, Chair, if I might just say, 3 months is going to take you to the end of January, beginning of February time, which is where we'll have done our budgets and all the rest of it and had time to see these. And we've talked about doing the community awards and looking at January. So I think you're probably right we'll look at what the year brings and see how we come to the beginning of February time to do it in the calendar.
Yeah.
If people are happy with that.
So I say that 7:50, 50-minute meeting. Hopefully I'll be as efficient next time, and I'll see you all then.
Yeah, all right. See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, public.
Bye.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao, mate. See you, Stel.
See you.
How do we read this thing? Let me turn that off.